Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Now on Fox 50, murder at McDonald's. A DoorDash driver is killed by a restaurant employee. The search for the man responsible this morning.
And we are tracking rain across the area. You can very clearly see kind of a gloomy start there on our cameras across our viewing area. We're going to time this out on Featurecast and show you some storm chances through the weekend coming up.
And a burst pipe floods Duke Hospital, the emergency room out of service. The impact we're seeing for patients this morning. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on your Friday. I'm Eric Miller. We have got a gray and kind of damp day to finish off our week here. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione tracking those conditions for us. Anthony.
Yeah, Eric, you can clearly see here a couple of those raindrops on this camera. This is our White Lake one, and it really looks almost winter-esque for us with that cloud cover in place. We have the light raindrops coming down. Not everyone is seeing rainfall, but I want to take us to radar to talk about where we're seeing the bulk of this coverage. It's mainly from the triangle to the south, and I would argue to say even farther south of the triangle right there. It's trying to get up close to Raleigh, but not quite reaching the ground. Places like Sanford, Fayetteville, even up back towards Southern Pines. This big batch right there is kind of where we've been seeing the extent of this coverage over the past couple of hours, and it's pushing to the north and the east. So we'll see that continue. Here's Featurecast, though. So we go through the next couple of hours. We go through our Friday. It's going to still be with us. I would say the potential, at least. Not everyone will see it, especially our northern counties may stay relatively dry, but scattered showers are going to be a possibility for us today. And then we taper those off into tonight. I don't expect any big issues if you are headed out, let's say, for dinner plans later today. We're still just looking at that potential through the majority of today. 41 is where we sit in Raleigh, 40 in Fayetteville. That is going to feel very cold, Eric, compared to where we are headed this weekend. We're going to talk about a warm up and more storm chances on the way coming up.
Ooh, Anthony, thank you very much. Taking a live look now at traffic here. Taking a look at that I-440 cam near Glenwood Avenue. You can see things flowing nice and smooth there this morning. No major issues there, but we are seeing a couple of crashes pop up on the traffic map. One of them is going to be on Western Boulevard in those westbound lanes at West Cabarrus Street. The other seems to have cleared up in just the last couple of minutes. We're not seeing any major backups or delays there on Western, but we are keeping our eyes on that crash. And if you're headed that way this morning, you're going to want to slow down, take it easy. To breaking news now in Raleigh, where patients are being sent away from Duke Hospital after a water pipe burst. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker taken around 2 a.m. You can see water ponding in the parking lot with hospital workers set up outside of the emergency room. Duke University Hospital released a statement saying parts of the hospital were flooded, including the emergency department. Incoming patients were temporarily sent to other nearby hospitals. The hospital says all current patients have been cared for. Breaking news, a McDonald's employee who police say is armed and dangerous is on the run this morning after police say he shot and killed a DoorDash driver. This happened last night on Santa Fe Drive in Fayetteville. Nick Perlin joins us from Fayetteville outside the police department there in the breaking news tracker. Nick, this morning police have identified the suspected shooter and the man who died.
At around 3:30 this morning, we got a picture of who Fayetteville police say fired those gunshots that killed that DoorDash driver. They say it was McDonald's worker, Kevin Holland. But first, I want to get you to video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. This is from around 8 last night. You can see Fayetteville police here taping off that McDonald's on Santa Fe Drive as they try to figure out what led to this shooting where, again, a McDonald's worker fired those gunshots and killed a DoorDash driver. Now, this is the picture we got from Fayetteville police at around 3:30 this morning. This is the man they're looking for. This is Kevin Holland. They say this is the McDonald's driver that fired those gunshots and killed that DoorDash driver. At this point in time, Fayetteville police are still looking for Holland. And we're also still trying to learn from the police department what led up to this shooting. As we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. In Fayetteville, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
And Nick, we know you're staying on top of it. Thank you. Post-holiday travel is moving smoothly for travelers flying out of RDU, where you're taking a live look right now. Most delays and cancellations the airport saw yesterday were coming out of Dallas. That area got hit very hard by storms. Severe weather canceling 6 total flights to and from Dallas. One family was just happy they could reunite with their son, who was arriving from that airport after missing Christmas together as a family.
There's a lot of, we got on the plane, we got delayed for about an hour and a half, and then there was a bunch of turbulence for like the first half of the flight. I missed them. I'm especially my aunt. I don't get to see her a lot, so I really miss her.
Always love seeing those reunions there. It was smooth sailing for mostly everybody else. Across the country, some 54 million people are flying this holiday season. We'll keep you up to date on air and online about any snags in the airport may run into. If you're driving today, you're going to want to hit the road early. Many people are making their way home after the holidays or, of course, going to visit more family. AAA predicts the best time to drive today is going to be before 2 p.m. The worst and busiest times are expected to be between 3 and 7 p.m. Here's a look at some of the gas prices you'll see out there today. Gas Buddy releasing these new numbers just after 3 a.m. The current average in North Carolina, $2.85 a gallon. According to Gas Buddy, the current average in Raleigh, $2.89. The national average, a little bit higher, $3.03. Several tornadoes were caught on camera touching down in Texas yesterday. Just check this out. This one touched down 70 miles southwest of Houston. A driver captured this funnel on camera. Wharton County officials say there's no major damage or injuries reported yet from this storm. Northwest of Dayton, Texas, this reported twister is seen spinning through fields there. A man is not facing charges after shooting and killing his stepdad. 59-year-old Clarence Majette died. This happened Christmas morning, just before noon, near Carolina Rest Home Road in Halifax County. Police say Majette and his stepson were fighting and shots were fired. Police say the stepson shot Majette in self-defense. A convicted murderer turned himself in after being on the run for 13 days. This is 47-year-old Litego Marshall. 2 weeks ago, he was in court for a first-degree murder trial. He took a lunch break and then never returned. The next Monday, the jury handed down a guilty verdict. Police say Marshall turned himself in to authorities yesterday in Burlington. He's now in the Alamance County Detention Center with no bond. President-elect Trump's appointed border czar says he believes a showdown may be coming between federal and local authorities. In an NBC News interview, Tom Homan discussed a San Diego measure that would require federal officials to obtain a judicial warrant to remove undocumented migrants from jails. Trump has promised deportation on a mass scale when he takes office. Another concern regarding Trump's plan is the possibility of family separations between migrants and children. A 2023 decree from the Department of Justice banned family separations for 8 years. Homan said that decree will likely be re-examined. A man Garner police say took officers on a high-speed chase is still on the run. 25-year-old Devon Whittle is wanted out of New York for kidnapping. This is video right here of the car Whittle rolled over just outside of Buffalo Lane's bowling alley. Garner police tried to stop him for expired tags. They say at first he pulled over, then hit the gas and drove 90 miles an hour until he rolled that car. He then ran away into a nearby neighborhood. Whittle has previous charges in New York and a conviction for reckless endangerment. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. Police are searching for this man as well, Kellen Cuttance. He's wanted for threatening mass violence on school grounds in Durham. In light of the school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin last week, people living nearby are understandably alarmed. We've reached out to Durham Police and Durham Public Schools to learn what exactly that threat of mass violence entailed and what school property in Durham it was made on. Durham Police are actively looking for Cuttance. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. A procession is happening today for the Greenville police officer shot and killed inside a Food Lion on Monday. The body of Officer Michael Horan will be escorted to Greensboro from Raleigh. The escort will start at 4:30 this afternoon. Several federal, state, and local agencies will be on overpasses along I-40. The escort will end at a funeral home in Greensboro. The man charged with killing Officer Horan made his first appearance in court yesterday. Terrell McMillan was in court over Zoom. He's charged with first-degree murder. 1 week since the striking began, the movement against Starbucks has expanded to more than 300 stores in 45 states. That includes right here in North Carolina. Around 5,000 workers have walked out over better pay and working conditions. The striking began after contract negotiations failed last Friday. Workers say the coffee chain isn't offering a serious economic proposal.
Starbucks is bringing proposals that are not worth having a conversation about. They suggested a 1% raise, which is pretty disgraceful, kind of a slap in the face, doesn't even meet inflation.
A Starbucks spokesperson says the strike has had minimal effect, with 98% of stores operating as planned. The company claims it was the workers' union that walked away from the bargaining table last week. A love from Oklahoma. 4 RVs are coming for victims of Hurricane Helene. The overwhelming support from across the country. And retail returns. The busy shopping day as people exchange those holiday gifts that weren't quite right. Anthony.
And if you are headed back to the store, make sure to grab the umbrella. We are looking at some light rain showers and some chilly temperatures in the 30s and 40s right now. We're going to time out some much better rain chances, though, even some storms possible this weekend, and a look at warmer temperatures coming up.
Welcome back. Taking a live look there over Fayetteville this morning, where you can see things are looking pretty quiet and pretty darn damp, too. And it's not just Fayetteville. As we turn to our forecast here, Anthony, we're seeing some rain kind of all across the map here.
We are, yeah. We've been watching this the past couple of hours, and I would say mainly from the triangle to the south is where we've seen the extent of that coverage, but everyone at least has that potential as we go through the rest of today to see that. We're looking at about Fayetteville, Southern Pines, Sanford. You can see this kind of big batch right there. It is not going to be a lot, though, as far as amounts are concerned. I was just looking here at some of our observations. This is over the past 6 hours as far as our rain is concerned. Where you see it showing what we call a trace is basically just enough where the sensor can pick it up. It's usually about 1/100th of an inch or less. And so what that's saying is we've seen virtually no measurable amounts, if you will, but it's still enough to cause some inconvenient weather out there, right? If you're traveling, if you're heading out across the area. We go through today, that potential is still going to be there. There's not a time period during the day where I can say it's going to be totally dry and no rainfall. I would have the umbrella close by just in case you get under some of these light cells. But the majority of us, we're kind of just looking at what we have out there right now. Pretty showery, pretty, I would say, conducive to a good movie day if you want to hang inside today and do that. We get to Sunday, though, we may have the chance for some stronger storms. It looks like rain is going to be just about all day long, with especially the afternoon time frame looking like the better coverage. 3 to 9 p.m., though, we have a chance for some of these to be on the stronger side, a few strong storms. Gusty winds will be our primary threat with that. If you have holiday decorations outside, I know it's showery right now. We may see some dry time kind of off and on. I would secure those. Bring them in, take them down, things like that, because I do think they could start to blow around with those kind of gusty storms on Sunday. Upper 60s is what we're going Sunday, 68 degrees on Saturday. It is going to be a huge warm up compared to the 40s that we're expecting today. We get a warm front coming in, 68 tomorrow. There may be a few light areas of rain, very similar to what we're seeing today into tomorrow. Sunday's the better chance for those showers and storms, 68 still, Eric, as we head into New Year's Eve next week.
All right, Anthony, thank you very much. At least 10 people are without homes after an apartment fire in Raleigh. Sky 5 flew over the scene on Sandy Forks Road yesterday morning as fire crews responded. Dozens of people were forced outside. Fire investigators say it started as an electrical fire and was possibly caused by an HVAC unit. Nobody was hurt. A judge has denied rapper Jay-Z's lawyer's request to identify the rape accuser in a sexual assault lawsuit. Jay-Z has denied the claim from the accuser. She alleges she was 13 years old when the rapper and Sean Diddy Combs raped her during a VMA's after-party in 2000. Both Carter and Combs have denied the woman's claims. The judge's Thursday ruling allows the woman to proceed anonymously in the case. However, the judge said she'll revisit the decision as the case progresses. ChatGPT is back up and running after major outages. The outage started around 1:30 yesterday afternoon and lasted for hours. Users around the world took to X to comment on the issue. Some said the crash inhibited their ability to do research and complete school or work assignments. ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI, apologized for any trouble the outages caused. 2 sailors were killed on the first night of the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race. The sailors were on separate boats, each reportedly killed after being struck by the boom, a large pole at the bottom of the sail. We know the men were 55 years old and 65 years old, both from Australia. Officials say a sailor on a third boat was washed overboard but was rescued. In 1998, 6 sailors were killed in storms during the race, prompting reforms in safety protocols. A beloved Fayetteville supermarket that burned to the ground in October is reopening on a part-time basis. Ken Law's supermarket has been at the corner of Sapona Road for 45 years. October's fire gutted the place and destroyed everything. The lot where the iconic supermarket once stood has been cleared for a new building. Meanwhile, the owners have opened a makeshift supermarket where loyal customers can get just about everything they want, just on a smaller scale.
They drive far to come here, and I used to shop here before I worked here. So, I mean, it's like the customers come in and then they feel welcome. They're helped, and you can't beat it. And now that I have to shop somewhere else, I completely understand.
The owners hope to have the supermarket rebuilt and opened full-time in August of next year. An Oklahoma family is driving to North Carolina to help those displaced by Hurricane Helene. They turned to social media to raise support. As Sydney Batzlaff reports, the response was far more generous than they anticipated.
It's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's about them.
What started as a plan to deliver one camper turned into something much bigger.
We had one camper bought, and 3 more came together real quick for us to where we could buy. And then everybody's from the community and just around the woodwork just trying to help.
The family turned to Facebook asking for donations so they could provide more than just the campers.
Asked for anybody had any stuff, blankets, sheets, pots, pans, stuff like that to stock it, that we would be happy to take it. And man, they showed up everywhere. I opened the door and my porch is full of stuff.
The family has spent the last week preparing each camper and filling them with the donations.
We clean and work on them until 9, 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 11, just trying to get it done so we can get gone.
So Alita Walker and the rest of the group will make the 1,000-mile-plus drive to Spruce Pine, North Carolina to deliver the campers to displaced families.
At the time in that area, there's over 20 families that are living in tents still, and that's not acceptable.
Walker hopes their story encourages others to lend a helping hand to those in need this holiday season.
Get out there, do the right thing. If you can, not everybody can do it, but if you can, do your part. We're all humans. We all come into this world with nothing and we'll leave with nothing.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, right? The season of gift giving is coming to an end and ushering in the season of gift returning. Retailers hope other shoppers will come in to return or exchange items and do some extra shopping while they're there. It's an effort to recoup losses from an estimated 17% of holiday sales expected to be brought back. Experts say 53% of us get unwanted gifts over the holidays. Valerie Sokolowski has written 8 books about etiquette. She says there is no shame in not keeping those unwanted gifts.
Be honest and be tactful. And there's nothing wrong with if they find out saying, you know, I want you to know that I so appreciated the gift that you gave me, the heart behind it. What I need to tell you is I wasn't able to use it, and so I was able to exchange it or I re-gifted it.
Now, to make the return process smoother, experts suggest checking store policies before you get there, keeping the item in its original packaging if possible, and processing returns early. Stores are also leaning into Boxing Day and New Year's sales with hopes that shoppers will grab more items on their way out. You can ring in the new year with WRAL live from downtown Raleigh. Ashley Rowe and Dan Haggerty will bring you the fun and excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration. We've got music, crowds, and fireworks, all to help close out 2024. We'll have live coverage on Fox 50 and WRAL starting at 10 p.m. Author and former presidential candidate Marianne Williamson is running for chair of the Democratic National Committee. In a statement announcing her candidacy, Williamson said the Democratic Party needs to transform. She ran for president in both 2020 and 2024 without ever breaking through to the masses. Williamson joins a large field of candidates looking to replace outgoing chair Jamie Harrison. The 2 Christmas Day NFL games on Netflix set a streaming record. According to Nielsen, about 65 million combined viewers watched the games on Wednesday. That makes those the most streamed NFL games in U.S. history. Netflix says the viewership spiked when Beyoncé performed during halftime of the Ravens-Texans game, of course. Netflix and the NFL have a 3-season partnership to broadcast Christmas games. The Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks played the lowest scoring game of the season last night. The Seahawks won 6-3. This is the first time this season that either team failed to reach 10 points in a game. And you won't want to miss the final Sunday night football of 2024. You can catch the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at 1 p.m. on Fox 50. Then at 4:25, the Green Bay Packers play the Minnesota Vikings. Then you can turn it on over to WRAL at 8:20 when the Atlanta Falcons take on the Washington Commanders. Leaving a legacy, NC State's Kay Yao is helping women battling cancer, her lasting service to the community. And packing light, a stowaway, almost makes it onto a flight to Hawaii. Now they got on board the plane just before takeoff.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It's 8:26 a.m. I'm Eric Miller. Here's meteorologist Anthony Baglione.
Eric, we're looking at a chilly forecast as we head through today with a high only of 47 this afternoon. We hit 51 yesterday for perspective, so just a little bit cooler than that. It will come with that potential, like we're already seeing out there right now on radar, for some light showers to continue on. So just keep that in mind. Sunday, it looks like our better chance of seeing some storms, though. We're going to watch for some rain just about all day long, and then from about 3 to 9 p.m., some of those could be on the stronger side. Wind gusts could exceed about 30 to 35 miles an hour Sunday afternoon into the evening.
Anthony, thank you very much. Taking a live look out there at I-440 and Glenwood Avenue. You can see traffic moving nice and smooth there, but we do have a couple of issues to tell you about here Friday morning. 2 crashes, one on Tryon Road eastbound at Lake Wheeler Road, the other on Western Boulevard at West Cabarrus Street. Continuing to follow those, we're not seeing any major backups, but if you're heading past either of those spots, you want to pay attention and slow down. Fayetteville police are searching for a McDonald's employee they say shot and killed a DoorDash driver. This was the scene on Santa Fe Drive last night. Police have identified the shooter as 25-year-old Kevin Holland. He's considered armed and dangerous this morning. A burst pipe flooded Duke University Hospital in Raleigh this morning. Multiple parts of the hospital were impacted, including the emergency department. Incoming patients were sent to other nearby hospitals. The hospital says all current patients have been cared for. Coming up next on Fox 50, the procession for a Greensboro police officer killed on the job this week. And up next on Today, board games for all ages to enjoy this holiday weekend.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Now on WRAL, armed and dangerous. The conflict at a McDonald's that led an employee to shoot and kill a DoorDash driver. In a burst pipe at Duke University Hospital, the efforts to treat patients and solve the major problem this morning.
And it's a bit of a damp morning for some of us out there with rain chances continuing here through the next couple of hours. We're going to talk about where these are headed and go over futurecasts coming up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here to start your Friday off. I'm Eric Miller. Well, if you're planning to have a lazy day inside, we got some good news. It's gray skies and rain out there. Anthony, pretty much rain across the region.
Yeah, it's a great day to kind of be inside, just kind of enjoying your Friday here as we cruise on into the weekend. Good morning, though, to all of you. Thank you for watching here. We do have that rain on radar. Most of this is from about the triangle to the south. And if you haven't seen rain quite yet, not everyone is going to see it today. But where it's coming down, it's certainly making for a bit of a damp morning, I would say at this point. Right around Fayetteville, Dunn, Sanford to Southern Pines, this is really the extent of the coverage that we've seen. It's trying, though, to push a little bit farther to the north and kind of expand that coverage just a little bit. We get closer to the Triangle. Apex looking pretty calm. It wouldn't surprise me, though, seeing some light sprinkles in that area. Holly Springs, a really light cell there, and also Fuquay just to your east. That's going to be pushing closer to Clayton here as we go through the next probably 15 to 20 minutes. Really, really light coverage overall. We've seen less than about 1/100 of an inch so far of this rain, but it's still going to be impactful. Still could be inconvenient if you're headed out. Here's Futurecast. Continues on through today. There's lunchtime. Still some scattered showers around the Triangle, and that potential will still be there through this afternoon. So if you are traveling, just keep that in mind. This is kind of round one out of a couple here that we have headed this way. We're going to talk about some storm chances as well coming up here in just a few minutes.
Anthony, thank you very much. Taking a live look out there right now. This is I-440 at Capitol Boulevard. You can see traffic flowing nice and smooth. Hey, great thing about the holidays, it's a little more relaxed out there. We do have one crash to tell you about as we take a look at that traffic map. That's going to be Tryon Road eastbound at Lake Wheeler Road. Not seeing any major backups or delays right now, but if you're headed through there, you're going to want to pay attention. An earlier crash along along Western Boulevard, at Cabarrus, has since cleared up. To breaking news now, a McDonald's employee who police say is armed and dangerous is on the run this morning after police say he shot and killed a DoorDash driver. This happened last night on Santa Fe Drive in Fayetteville. Nick Perlin reports from the Fayetteville Police Department, where police have identified the suspected shooter and the man who died.
At around 3:30 this morning, we got a picture of who Fayetteville police say fired those gunshots that killed that DoorDash driver. They say it was McDonald's worker, Kevin Holland. But first, I want to get you to video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. This is from around 8 last night. You can see Fayetteville police here taping off that McDonald's on Santa Fe Drive as they try to figure out what led to this shooting where, again, a McDonald's worker fired those gunshots and killed a DoorDash driver. Now, take a look at this picture. We got this from Fayetteville police at around 3:30 this morning. This is the man who Fayetteville police say fired those gunshots that killed that DoorDash driver. This is Kevin Holland. He's 25. Fayetteville police plan on charging him with first-degree murder, but they still do not know where he is right now. Now, we're also still trying to find out from Fayetteville police where that search stands and, of course, what led to this shooting. As we get more information, we'll be sure to update you. In Fayetteville, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Police are searching for this man, Kellen Cuttance. He's wanted for threatening mass violence on a school grounds in Durham. In light of the school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin last week, people living nearby are understandably alarmed. One local elementary school teacher tells WRAL any threat made on school property, followed through with or not, is extremely disruptive to classrooms.
Your safety has to come first. It's in your hierarchy of needs. You have to feel safe in order to be able to do what you want to do in a school, which is to build them up to being responsible humans and caring individuals and critical thinkers.
And we've reached out to Durham Police and Durham Public Schools to learn what exactly that threat was and what school property in Durham it was made on. Durham Police are actively looking for Cuttance. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. To breaking news now, patients are being sent away from Duke University Hospital after a water pipe burst. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker taken around 2 a.m. You can see water ponding in the parking lot after running out of the building, with hospital workers set up outside of the emergency room. Duke University Hospital released a statement saying parts of the hospital were flooded, including the emergency department. Incoming patients were temporarily sent to other nearby hospitals. The hospital says all current patients have been cared for. A procession is happening today for the Greensboro police officer shot and killed inside a Food Lion on Monday. The body of that officer will be escorted to Greensboro from Raleigh. The escort will start at 4:30 this afternoon. Several federal, state, and local agencies will be on overpasses along I-40. The escort will end at the funeral home in Greensboro. The man charged in that killing made his first appearance in court yesterday. Terrell McMillan was in court over Zoom. He's charged with first-degree murder. If you're driving today, you're going to want to hit the road early. Many people are making their way home after the holidays or going to visit more family and friends. AAA predicts the best time to be on the roads is going to be before 2 p.m. The worst and busiest times are expected to be between 3 and 7 p.m. And if you got to fill up that gas tank, here's a look at some of the latest gas prices you will see out there today. Gas Buddy releasing these new numbers just after 3 a.m. The current average in North Carolina, $2.85 a gallon. Things a little bit more expensive in Raleigh at $2.89, with the national average at $3.03. A worker became trapped by electrical wires on a lift 50 feet in the air. This is video from the scene last night. It happened on Anderson Street off NC Highway 5 in Moore County. Officials say the lift came in contact with a power line, causing a nearby transformer to blow. Luckily, a Duke Energy bucket truck was able to be raised up enough to rescue the worker. No injuries were reported. One person died in a crash in Moore County. It happened on Lake Bay Road in Vass. You can see the major police response there. Police say an overturned vehicle had 2 people trapped inside. One of those people died at the scene. Another had to be taken to the hospital by a helicopter. We're working to learn what exactly caused this crash and the condition of that person in the hospital. Well, you can now recycle your live Christmas tree in Wake County. Trees dropped off will be turned into mulch to strengthen and beautify parks and trails across the county. The program runs until January 26th at 8 drop-off locations. Recycling is free, but be sure to remove all the decorations first. The convenience centers are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can find a location near you by going to wake.gov or by simply searching Happy Trails Christmas Tree Recycling Program. In Durham, you'll have to wait until next Thursday to drop off your live tree. You can drop them off at the city's waste disposal and recycling center. And on Saturday mornings in January, you can drop them off anytime at the parks on your screen there. Those drop-off times run from 7 a.m. to noon. Rex Healthcare is facing a new lawsuit after an employee says she was fired for refusing to get a COVID vaccine. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed it on behalf of Heather Goller. She claims the vaccine requirement was against her religious beliefs and that she'd previously been granted exemptions from the flu vaccine by Rex. Goller began working remotely during the pandemic and was never asked to return in person. The agency is asking for a jury trial to determine whether Rex should pay Goller for lost wages and other damages. NC State and ECU are in Annapolis, Maryland, ahead of the Military Bowl. The teams spent the morning practicing and then the afternoon at the U.S. Capitol. NC State visited the National Mall, seeing the Lincoln Memorial and the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. NC State and ECU will play in the Military Bowl on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 5:45 p.m. And the Tar Heels are a little further north. They'll play UConn at Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. The team got a chance to tour the grounds yesterday, and hey, look at that. Carolina up there on the scoreboard. UNC will play UConn in the Fenway Bowl. That game is on Saturday, December 28th at 11 a.m. in Boston, Massachusetts. The late, great NC State women's basketball coach Kay Yao left a legacy that surpassed all of her victories on the court. Today, her fight with cancer continues to save lives. It was her heroic 22-year fight with breast cancer that inspired her players and fans. Players remember Yao taking the focus off her own battle to encourage others. The Kay Yao Cancer Fund awards grants for scientific research and programs to help underserved women so that they can gain access to quality cancer health care.
And what I'm really impressed about with the Kay Yao Cancer Fund is they deal with all cancers, not just breast cancers.
Now, through the foundation, $8.7 million will go to fight cancers affecting women. The fund also awards grants for scientific research. Also, the 2025 Celebration Run Walk will be held Saturday, February 1st. Rebuilding with purpose. Volunteers coming together for a project in western North Carolina. This home right here will serve the community and remember a couple lost to Hurricane Helene. And a holiday classic reimagined. The Hip Hop Nutcracker coming to Durham will help you plan your weekend out just ahead in Out and About. And storms are on the move. You're taking a live look out there at Pinehurst. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is tracking the rain. He'll tell us when it's going to arrive. Welcome back and good morning to everybody out there, including those folks in Fayetteville, where if you're stepping out the door this morning, you're going to want to grab that umbrella. And you know what? Taking a look at the weather map behind Anthony, I think Anthony, folks out there are going to want to have that umbrella whether or not they're in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I would say just keep it close by as we go through the rest of today. We're still looking at that coverage essentially from the triangle to the south. Some spots, though, to our north are probably thinking, what rain? We haven't seen anything. And that's kind of what we're going to go for as we head through the rest of today. Some locations a little bit wetter, as is evidenced there by Fayetteville, Southern Pines, Sanford, even up towards Smithfield and Dunn. But then our far northern counties at this point are relatively quiet. We take a zoomed in view, though, around the triangle, even Apex, Holly Springs, Fuquay, couple light, probably areas of drizzle, I would say, is likely what we're seeing there. And this is all mainly moving up to the north and east right now. So it's going to be pretty light coverage overall through today. Our temperatures, though, this is going to be our other story through the next couple days. We're going to be at 47 this afternoon, so still chilly. We hit 51 yesterday, so a little bit cooler compared to where we were. But we keep those rain chances in the forecast through the majority of today. The entire state really has kind of the same weather setup in place right now, to where most of us still talking that potential for some light rain as we go into the next couple of hours through the afternoon. Even our evening commute, we could still see that with the heaviest coverage back to the west. And I will say at this point, it looks like if you are traveling, flying, for instance, in the deep south portions of Texas, Louisiana, they're looking at some strong storms, unfortunately, down there. We are at 68, though, on our Saturday. We could see the strong storm potential get here into Sunday between about 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock. The Storm Prediction Center has this outlined in that level 2 out of 5 risk. Essentially what that's saying is, and I will say during this time of the year, it's actually relatively rare to get that issued, but rain and storms are going to be likely for us. Gusty winds would be our primary threat. If you have Christmas decorations that are still outside, if you can secure them, bring them in, I would highly recommend that. We could see, again, 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts on Sunday. Upper 60s here through the weekend. We get another chance at some light rain there into New Year's Eve, but looking really good here as we start 2025 into next week.
Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. Brand new information coming out of China. A Chinese court just sentenced a man to death for killing 35 people when he drove into a crowd of people exercising outside a fitness facility. I want to show you this memorial that is set up outside that fitness facility. Last month, people were exercising there when a man drove into this crowd. It was an attack that raised national concern about mass killings of this type. Chinese government calling it revenge on society crimes. Court handed down the sentence, an extreme one, saying the nature of the crime was vile, the means were particularly cruel, and the consequences severe. The court determined the motive to be a man who was unhappy with his divorce settlement. The Chinese government is saying that there are just too many of these anger-fueled personal disputes that are carrying out in that country with tragic results like that.
Just awful, Jeff. Thank you. A man saved his brother's life on Christmas Eve after he triggered an avalanche, trapping his sibling under the snow. Braden and Hunter Hansen were snowmobiling in the Franklin Basin of northeastern Utah. They were climbing up to higher ground in a canyon when the avalanche came down the hillside, burying Hunter. Braden activated a beacon device, a device that showed him Hunter's location. Hunter had been pushed about 150 yards from where he was just moments before.
I could see his hand, his gloves kind of poking out, waving. But by the time I got to him, he was about 2 feet. His head was about 2 feet under the snow, and just cleared the snow away from his head and got his helmet off so that he could start breathing again, and then just started digging his body out from there.
Now, Hunter only had minor injuries and says he is grateful for his brother's quick thinking here. An average of 27 people die in avalanches in the United States every single year, according to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center. In the Pacific Northwest, people are bracing for wind, rain, and more snowy conditions as another atmospheric river takes aim at that region. Some parts of the Sierra saw 8 inches of snow this week. Crews are clearing roads as holiday travelers try to return home. A person was arrested after sneaking onto a flight to Hawaii without a ticket. It happened at the Seattle-Tacoma Airport on Christmas Eve. The Delta flight was bound for Honolulu. The stowaway was able to get through a checkpoint and then slipped past an ID check to board the plane. A former pilot says it was a combination of mistakes that allowed this to happen.
Well, there's never just one cause. So there are multiple causes that come into this, and they probably involve not only a bit of lackadaisical inattention, it may be training, it may be compliance, but it's probably all of that.
The stowaway was found while the plane was taxiing. The person was arrested after the plane returned to the gate. The Azerbaijan Airlines flight that crashed in Kazakhstan may have been downed by a Russian anti-aircraft system. That is according to U.S. officials. They say signs point to that Russian system striking the plane before it crashed, killing at least 38 people on board. Investigators have recovered a second black box that they hope will shed light on the cause of the crash. Brazilian authorities and representatives of the plane's manufacturer, Embraer, are expected to arrive in Kazakhstan today to help with the investigation. A rebuild project in western North Carolina is remembering the legacy of a young couple lost to the storm. Volunteers with Operation Anchor are reconstructing this home in Green Mountain after it was washed away by Hurricane Helene. 5 people used to live in the house, 2 parents and 3 kids. Tragically, the parents did not survive the storm. Once the home is complete, it'll be used as a safe haven for other families from the area who still need a place to stay.
I can tell you personally that if this happened at my house, I couldn't afford to rebuild. And I don't know how many families in the country could afford to rebuild without no help right now. I mean, you have to understand these people are getting absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Operation Anchor, the folks behind that rebuild believe it will take 3 to 4 years to completely put that house, or to completely rebuild the Green Mountain community. The organization is looking for people to sponsor families from the area. Those details are available online. All right, it's the final weekend of 2024, and it is filled with family fun. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan is here with a list of ideas to help keep you and your family busy. Kathy, first, let's start off with some Hanukkah events here.
You got to keep the kids busy this time of year, right? So Hanukkah is happening right now. Okay, in Morrisville, there's a big celebration going on. That's going to be happening on December 27th at 5 p.m. Celebration is all going down at Apex Senior Center as well. We've got that on Sunday at 3:30. There's going to be holiday crafts, a fire show, food trucks, all kinds of amazing stuff. And then we've got Monday, downtown Cary Park is going to be having their huge giant festival of lights starting at 5:30. Holiday music, activities for the kids. It's all free to attend.
That's fantastic. There are also some holiday performances coming up too. Tell us about the Hip Hop Nutcracker.
This is so much fun. Okay, so it's happening on Saturday at the Durham Performing Arts Center. Every year, it's amazing. Okay, we got a hip hop version of the Nutcracker. So imagine the show is reimagined, great music, great dancing. Tickets start at about $40. Now, children under the age of 6 are not allowed at the event, but everyone does need a ticket.
Gotcha. And if you love Motown, there's a show in Cary you might want to check out as well. Tell us about that.
The Motown Sound of Christmas. It's happening tonight at Cary Arts Center. The town of Cary and Pure Life Theater Company are teaming up for this show. Expect to hear some great music and holiday surprises ahead. Good stuff. Tickets start about $20.
Yeah, Kathy, it's so much going on. I mean, I feel like trying to pack all of this in between the Christmas celebrations, the New Year's celebrations we've got coming up. Is there like one best bet out of those that, so many of them are coming back? Is there one best bet you think folks should really check out?
Is there one best bet? I'm telling you, for New Year's, I would say for New Year's, let's talk about, WRL First Night. That's a big one coming up. I'd say look at our New Year's guide because I'm telling you, we've got great stuff going on for the whole weekend and for this upcoming New Year's Eve.
Kathy, love to see it. For more information on these events and a look ahead to those New Year's Eve festivities, you can just go to WRAL.com and search the keyword Out and About. Well, a lot of attention for tonight's Mega Millions jackpot. A whopping $1.15 billion are up for grabs. People in Southern California are hoping a lucky liquor store will help them get rich. The Bluebird Liquor Store has sold multiple winning Mega Millions and Powerball tickets, so people are lining up to beat tonight's big winner. Remember, you can watch tonight's drawing on WRAL right before our 11 o'clock news. And before we go to break, here's a look at those winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic coming up next.